What's up, all? Matt Leggett here. Lebanon, Maine Raw Thoughts. The meeting was crazy this week. 5 hours for the Selectman meeting. I'm going to try to condense it as quickly as possible. Hit the highlights. You can always watch the videos at Town of Lebanon on YouTube, and the videos are there. There's 5 videos. 3 of them are just in and out of sessions. But the first one is an hour and 40 minutes long. The second one is 2 hours and 40 minutes long. So feel free to watch them right at the Town of Lebanon on YouTube. So in the beginning, there was 2 public hearings of 2 different marijuana companies. Public hearing is just them talking about their business and the town approving their business or not. Real simple. We're going to talk about town meetings and public hearings in a little bit, because there's another note on public hearings. Comcast came in and talked about wanting to run all new lines throughout Lebanon. That's pretty big. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Breeze Line. Comcast wants to come in with a brand new network and hook people up. Said it would take them about 2 years to get everyone hooked up, but that's what they're looking to do. Because of that, the town will need to hold a public hearing on whether Comcast can come to town. More updates on that later on in the video. Deborah Wilson talked about, Dave Adams came in and talked about Babe Ruth. It's a great program. My oldest just aged out and my youngest is aging in. So back into Babe Ruth for me this season. I love it. It's a great program here in Lebanon. And all the kids that played really enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed it as a parent, just watching the kids play. It was awesome. Deborah Wilson talked about the good of the town, like all the different activities that are going on. So if you want to see what's going on in town, different events, check out the beginning of that video when Deborah Wilson speaks. She also dropped a bombshell. She is resigning from appeals board. If you haven't been following that, it's been chaotic. Chip Harlow used to be on appeals board and was the chair, but when he was voted in as selectman, he no longer could serve on the appeals board. That's created some confusion with no chair. Deborah Wilson used to be the chair of the board, and everyone refused to vote her back in because the board is now full of Chip Harlow's friends, and it's this back and forth with these different groups. It just is frustrating. Instead of people working for the good of the town, they're just looking to fight with each other, and that's the problem. Like, we can all disagree, but if we don't have an appeals board in town, or a knowledgeable appeals board, it really hurts a lot of people, especially if you're having issues with land use. And the selectmen need to stop causing divisions, and specifically Chip. It's got to stop with trying to get his buddies on different boards. It's ridiculous. I get a chance to get in and talk. The ATV club, Sanford ATV Club, met with Lebanon and Sanford and the state of Maine, and we're trying to state of Maine wants to improve the section of power line for ATVs. So I wasn't on the agenda. I just brought it up during public participation. Hopefully I'm on the agenda for the next week or 2 and can speak more about that. That wraps it up pretty much for the first video. The second video gets in and we talk about the dump quote. So they're trying to get a bunch of work done at the dump. A quote came in. It wasn't itemized. The town is hoping to get that itemized so they can see the real price of each project. The security cameras they want for the dump, the person wants the money up front to buy the material and then get paid the rest for his labor afterwards. So they're trying to figure out how to do that. Mike talks about wanting to put $80,000 onto the ballot for the fire station study. I guess there's 3 phases of this fire station study they want to do. They're trying to figure out if they want to use Station 1 or build a new fire station. Just to study that question, they want to allocate $80,000. It's a lot of money to study to figure out what the heck you're doing with the building, but apparently that's what it costs nowadays. I don't know. They also talked about wanting to use the COVID money for sheriffs at an election, $12,800 to be exact. So that would have a sheriff there during all the elections, because we have chaos in town. We have a woman that continually comes and screams and goes ballistic at stuff. We had people come in and intimidate people. It's crazy. Lebanon, we're the Wild West of stuff. So anyway, they're looking to have a sheriff at the elections. Not a horrible idea, but it does suck that we want to spend money on that and we can't maintain our baseball field for Babe Ruth. That's beyond our scope, apparently, as a town. They talked about pandemic pay for people that work during COVID. And they talked about the co-op for the dump moving forward for recycling, which that's a sore subject for me. We've already voted to do recycling. Waste management has come in, talked about it. Glass and cardboard should have been done 2 years ago, but it's the other side that came up with the idea. So instead of working for the good of the town, we just fight about it because that's what we do as Lebanon. And then they reviewed the ballot that's coming up in June. They spent a long time going through a bunch of questions on the ballot. 1 hour, 8 minutes, I thought was particularly a good point to note out. That's of the last video, the one that's 2 hours and 40 minutes. So if you go to the 1 hour, 8 minute mark, Chip talks about wanting to override LD1. LD1 is a set amount of money that the town can continue to increase taxes. So every year our taxes go up by however the economy is doing, 2-3%. In order to go up more, to spend more money, you would have to get a vote of the people to override that amount. And Chip talks about needing to override that amount in order to better the town. I say fight the school. They suck up 60-70% of our money. You should be fighting to get some of that money back because holy cow, the school just absorbs too much money, and it's just all in administrative fees. You can go to a private school for half as much as you can go to the public school. There's no reason for it other than government bloat. They should be fighting that and getting money back. The septic design, they finally approved that. Again, I chalk that up to bad decision making or people that can't make decisions. It took us 3 months just to vote to approve money to get a septic design. If you don't know, the dump hasn't had a toilet for a long time, and because our septic is broken, it's taken us months to just approve getting a design for a septic. So things that are important, just nobody makes a decision on. It's too bad. Chip, actually I agreed with him on this next part. Chip wanted to move the public hearing for Comcast up. So they were originally talking about putting it on with the public hearing for everything else. They review the ballot that'll be coming out in June. So that review is going to be done in May, and they wanted to put Comcast in with that same time frame, which just means their project gets pushed out 2 months. And why push out a project for 2 months? Mike talked about wanting transparency and people being able to voice their opinion about Comcast coming to town. If you have any feel for the town, you know how many people have complained about Breeze Line. So, hang on, a truck is going by and that's really loud. I don't know why we would push that out. I think we should have a public hearing just like we had for 2 marijuana companies at this meeting. Took like 5 minutes. They were in and out. Boom. Let's just move forward on this project. It doesn't cost anybody anything. It's just the usage of the poles so they can run their new network on the poles. And if you want to sign up for Comcast, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. It literally is, it just gives everyone more options, which is fantastic. So Chip, I'm with you on that. We should have the public meetings sooner than later. Get these guys rolling so they can get to work. Mike talked about ATV stuff for a little bit. Again, just going back to that meeting we had with Sanford and the state. He also talked about the town charter. They want to push out information on the Facebook page for the town. I think is a completely biased and abusive abuse of power by the town. They're pushing their own agenda. Mike literally got the petition rolling for a town charter. He wants it. To use your position as a selectman to push that agenda out on Facebook. And if you want to do it on your own social media, go for it. But to put it out on the town official page, that is an abuse of power. Totally egregious. You shouldn't be doing that. I'm 100% against the charter. A charter gives more power to people. I was just looking at the charter too, the how it works in the state of Maine. So the people that are on our budget committee, right, are applying for the charter committee. And then the charter committee gets to, if it doesn't get enough people that run for office, they can just vote in their buddies into the charter commission. It doesn't go back to the ballot. The charter commission votes its own members in. So if you want another chaotic budget committee and you want those people making the rules for the town, vote for it. If you think that's completely nuts, do not vote for a charter. It is the worst thing our town could be doing. Do not vote for a town charter. I think when they were going over it, it's like question 30 something, 32, 33. Don't vote for a charter. Do your own research. See what a charter does. My research allows the town to give certain direction, and with that direction allows them to implement new positions in town. So if they want to put a new position and say, because that position is going to be in line with a charter, it's just a way for government to bloat itself. It will just spend more money. Instead of money going to roads or money going to things that need to go to, it'll go to administrative positions. So do not vote for a town charter. It is the worst thing. And if they say you can't do certain things because home rule doesn't apply to a charter, that's complete BS. A town can be run by ordinances. It's been done that way forever. That's how our town is run, is by ordinances, and home rule does apply. Despite what Mike or other people might say, they're not telling the truth on that. So anyway, that's it for the Selectman meeting. I hope everyone has a great day. I'll recap the next one. Again, it was a 5-hour meeting condensed into 11 minutes. That's not too bad. All right, have a good day, everyone.